Anybody have any questions or anything they need to ask? We don't have any special guests this week, unfortunately. Even Kai is on vacation.
It's just us.
I want to see the shawls because I'm way behind.
Well, there's a spoiler thread on Ravelry for that.
Oh, okay, there is a spot.
Yeah.
We just arrived in Maine from California, so
Oh, that's
we had
nice.
a big trip. Yes,
Where in Maine?
in Wells. Near
Oh, okay.
Ogunquit.
Yeah, because I spent my summers just south of Portland and
Yeah.
always thought it was my favorite place on planet Earth, and I always thought I'd live there forever.
Yeah,
But-
it's my favorite place on earth too. And we have a house here now, and I want to get here as soon as the weather allows it.
Yeah.
Because California, nice and hot, 106 last Thursday.
Whoa.
And pretty
Yes.
soon it'll be smoky pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've ever flown out of there and it wasn't foggy.
Last year we had 11 miles from us, the wildfires were.
Oh.
So we saw the orange sky and we saw scary.
Yeah, it would be.
Smoky.
So did you move to Maine permanently or?
No, we do have here. My husband hates cold, so
It's cold in Maine.
I have friends who have a cabin up, well, they have a house, but there's no heating in it. So they were staying as late as they could into fall. But it was funny because we'd be Zooming and she'd be all wrapped up with a little heater next to her. I said, you really probably should come back.
I have a question for you, seasoned knitters. Any
Yeah.
way to rescue a twisted stitch that's botched that you like on the other side thought it was, because I'm a combination knitter, which for this project, I've had to go back to my regular knitting, just continental. And I keep trying to fix the twisted stitches. So I keep messing up my little twists. Is there any way to go back and fix it or just have to rip it out?
Well, you can drop, I think Anne's frozen. Are you, oh no,
No, I'm
Okay.
just listening. I don't understand the question, like every
Could I
twisted. Yeah.
Can I drop down and fix a twisted stitch?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to drop down 2 stitches to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you can actually do that with just with a ladder.
yeah.
Okay.
I just took it out, went back.
Yeah, I've done it lots and lots of times. So
This is the first time I've done twisted stitches.
yeah.
I've only knit one sweater.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would have to drop down both stitches that are confused to fix it. But what do you need to fix about it?
Well,
mentioned-
sometimes when I'm purling, when I go to grab it, I don't, because I'm carrying 2 yarns. I don't get both of them. So when I go back to
Oh.
grab it, the stitch looks like totally different. I'm like, what the hell have I done? So I must have, because the way it twists, sometimes it might go back in, or I don't know what I do, but it's not twisted anymore. So I didn't know I could fix it. I'm gonna practice that. See if I can.
Yeah.
Because I can fix a regular drop stitch, no problem.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, yeah. You would just it's 2 of them, so you have to fix them both.
All right.
And I found I had to take out one on either side because if it's a right twist and you reach over the needle, it got kind of difficult with too short of a yarn to fix the twist for me. So I just took out the 2 twisted ones and then one on each side. And it made it easier to actually do the stitch to fix it.
So you fix that first and then either side.
Yeah, and then I knit in pattern, but I fixed the twist that was mistaken. So I took out some good stitches or correct stitches so that there was more of a carried piece of yarn to try to redo it. Does that make sense to anybody? Did I say that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
gives yourself
Give
more.
it or give, yeah.
I was thinking, how the heck am I going to do that with those two, that little bit? Yeah, okay, that would make sense. All right, cool. Yay.
Sorry, I dropped out. My internet was reset.
Oh, I've had that happen.
It's not like California, huh?
No, it's not. Exactly. I happily live with it. It's 72 right now here.
Yeah.
Sunny and 72.
That's nice.
Who's the knit companion person that really loves it? There's somebody on here.
Elizabeth,
She's not here yet.
Because
Yeah.
I just updated my operating system on my Mac to Big Sur, and I have it on my desktop now. Yay!
Good for you.
Yeah, and I got it all colored up, and it's got like little numbers, how many stitches if it's a long run past 3.
Mhm.
Because I've never done a chart before, so this is very good.
And you were able to do Knit Companion because you can have apps on Big Sur?
Yes, you can. Well, you can always have, you could have apps on other apps on the Mac, but that particular one, she didn't write the software compatible to the other versions. This one's
Gotcha.
compatible, which is nice.
Tempting.
I tell you what, I didn't want to, I don't part with $20 easily. I don't.
Except for yarn.
It was flipping great.
Yeah.
Great. Even just the little, when you stop, because my grandson will come in the room and I'm like, click, quick. He came down the stairs the other day with my needles in his hands, and I'm like, where'd you get those? Of course, I knew exactly where they came from because there's only one thing on the needles right now.
Oh,
He goes, look, they're pinchers. And I came upstairs and the knitting's on the floor.
Oh, ouch.
How
It's a-
old is that grandson?
3.5.
You think he'll make 4?
Yeah. It only took me a few minutes to put them all back on. And as far as twisted stitches, because I have I do the combination style, it doesn't matter which way it's posted, I can knit anyway. So that doesn't bother me. So I just threw them all back on.
What
Luckily.
is Big Sur? I'm pretty ignorant in some things.
Big Sur is the operating system for the
Operating.
Mac laptops.
Oh,
Apple names all their things, either it's California locations or it's animals. We've had
that's right.
Catalina, Big Sur,
I just
Yep.
have a iPhone now, so I forgot about that. The Mac, the High Sierra was my last one, I guess. Let me ask y'all a dumb question about it, if I could, please. I was learning from Elizabeth about Knit Companion too, but I'm going to go get an iPhone, good Lord, iPad Sunday for my birthday. And what I'm trying to
Happy
what I'm
birthday.
trying to struggle with is getting cellular or Wi-Fi. If I want to go on Zoom with my iPad, can I just do it with Wi-Fi, or do I have to have a cellular?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it Wi-Fi. But
Yeah.
just-
I've got my phone for calls and stuff like that, and messages.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you don't need cellular for Zoom if you have a Wi-Fi connection. And in fact, if your phone is nearby, you can use your phone as a hotspot. If you did need cellular, if you were in a hotel somewhere and you needed Wi-Fi, you could use your phone as your Wi-Fi hub
Mhm.
Going from your
for your iPad. So yeah,
But
you
I
don't
have to make a Wi-Fi on my iPad. Go ahead and get that in, right, so that I can make the hotspot.
it will. It has a function to connect to your Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Yeah,
you just have to know the password.
Yeah.
it's just Wanda. It's just It's just like your phone.
Yep.
Like when you go into the settings on your iPad,
Right.
all the functions are going to be just like your phone. So whatever
Okay.
whatever Wi-Fi your phone is connecting to, you can do the same password and everything for your iPad.
So I don't have to get Wi-Fi or cellular with the iPad. I can just buy the iPad.
Yeah, just by the iPad. You don't get Wi-Fi on your device. You get it through your house, and then you
Yeah.
connect to it with your device. So you can
Okay.
you can connect
Okay.
to your Wi-Fi at your home with your device, or if you're at someone else's home and you have their password, you can connect to their Wi-Fi.
Well, I saw the hotspot thing on it, and my brother-in-law had mentioned on my iPhone, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
like when we go out to a show, we connect to we use our phones for hotspot because it's very secure. So we do all our sales through our phone, but we do it through our hotspot on our phone. So
All right. Way. Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm not even techie, Wanda, and I can tell you that.
Well, I just hate to sound so ignorant when I go to the Apple store.
Really, they love that. They'll teach
I'm
you you want to know.
Wanda.
Yes.
They've seen everything.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Everything.
My mom
Okay.
goes to the Apple store for help, so you shouldn't be embarrassed.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, they've seen everything. You can bet.
So most of us are old enough to appreciate this. A long time ago, the IT people had a joke about somebody calling in for help and complaining because the cup warmer, the coffee mug warmer had broken, and it was
Right.
the CD thing that popped out. Somebody thought it was a coffee warmer.
I
That's
remember
lots.
those computer jokes that went around.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not the only older one here.
Yeah, I learned on a TRS-80, the Radio Shack.
Oh yeah.
I instead of calculus, I took computer science. I still can't count.
You don't have to anymore. That's the
The companion.
problem I have in my knitting. I can't count. I do have a question. I have a friend who lives in Texas, and she's a very proper Southern lady. And she has she's developed a condition, and I want to make her something. And so because that's what we do, right? But I don't know offhand of a well, I'm assuming like a scarf or a shawl, and so it has to be lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only now getting used to lace, so I would prefer not to do something in lace yarn. But if anybody has any ideas or good patterns,
Think you can get away with sock yarn. I lived in Houston for 10 years. You can get away with sock fingering weight,
yeah,
take a shawl.
I would say if you use something like the Deco, which is the Tencel blend, it is a temperature regulating fiber.
oh, that's
So,
good.
and it is in hot, sticky weather, it does feel nice and dry and cool against your skin, but it will also add warmth in the winter if you need it. So something like that, or we still have some of our hemp blend as well.
What about the cotton? What about the organic cotton?
Yeah, we do have organic cotton. Cotton can get actually in very humid places like Houston can absorb moisture and actually end up
Sticky.
kind of, yeah,
New
but
Zealand wear wool.
the hemp shawl yarn in the hemp shawl fingering is really, it's hemp, silk, and a little bit of merino, and boy, that is also such nice summer yarn.
Sounds like it's really soft too.
It is. It's it feels like linen, it has that soft hand. Anyone here who's knit with it will tell you it's just
Yeah.
lovely.
Gorgeous.
It's not it doesn't, the Deco will hold its shape better in a scarf or a stole.
Mhm.
it's hemp is like linen. It needs a little bit of structure to help it keep its shape a little bit better. But that said, if you don't mind that it stretches and everything, it's really, really nice. It's fine in a shirt or a skirt or anything like that, but a rectangle can get, how scarves do, they stretch
Yeah.
out a little bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Also in Houston, I live just outside of Houston, and when you say she has a condition, if she's going to the doctor or if she's ever in the hospital, those places tend to be really cold.
Super.
Good idea.
And if you have something lightweight and warm that's not scratchy, it's really useful even in the summertime here. Like I'll stick a soft lightweight shawl or scarf in my purse and carry it with me when I go to a restaurant or anything like
Be
that.
cold inside.
Yeah.
Arlington. I should know, but she's a professor at University of Texas. I'm pretty sure it's Arlington that she lives around there.
Mhm.
I think that's up near Dallas, so it's a little north
Yeah.
of here. It's not quite as hot and muggy, or it's not quite as muggy as down here in the Houston area.
I have a hard time grasping the geography of Texas
Hmm.
because I live in Rhode Island, which I know is used as a unit of measure in Texas.
The greater Houston area is probably bigger than the state of Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah.
I lived in Cleveland.
Geographically.
Greater Cleveland is bigger than the state of 40 by 20 miles.
Oh my gosh.
Everything its own state.
I tell people that I live in a town called the Woodlands, but we're
Oh,
a suburb of Houston,
yeah.
and I think it's 30 or 35 miles to get to Houston. And I grew up in Baton Rouge, and I remember going home and I wanted to go to this particular restaurant, and my mother-in-law said, "Oh no, that's way on the other side of town." I said, "Well, how long does it take to get there?" And she said, "Oh, like 20 minutes." I was thinking, it takes us 20 minutes to get anywhere, just to get out of, like, it probably takes me 10 or 20 minutes to get out of the Woodlands.
Woodlands, yeah.
It's like when we lived in Nashville, we thought nothing of driving 4 hours to go to lunch somewhere. 'Cause everything was 4 hours away, Memphis, Knoxville, Atlanta, like it didn't matter where you went, 4 hours.
Yeah, no. I once told my husband I didn't like a grocery store, and he says, "Well, go to that one." I go, "Well, it's 5 minutes." I said to him, "It's twice as far." Like 5 minutes instead of 2.5 minutes or something. But yeah, there's people in Rhode Island who've never been to the beach or never been, south of Providence, and it's really tiny. They live in Texas. That's the whole point.
Yep.
God, it's just around the corner.
Everything is around the corner.
I used to go to Rhode Island just for the afternoon when I
Yeah,
lived in the Cape.
Yeah, we have some good tourist seasons, but people don't come to stay because you can always get back home.
Exactly.
So, Anne, what pattern would you recommend? There's so many beautiful scarves in your shop.
Do you want a lace one or something?
Some lace, but maybe not completely lace. I'd like to finish it.
Mhm. Let me think.
Miss
Don't-
Doolittle.
Oh, that's a really cute one. I love that one.
Yeah, and there's some lace and some pleats.
Pleats.
Oh,
Yeah,
And it's really attractive
it's
and
super
simple to
cute.
do. Yeah.
We don't have it out here, but yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Which
Well,
one
then
was that?
I mean, the Gray's scarf is really cute,
Yeah.
and people love that, and that's really easy to do. I have to look on my phone because I have a whole series of, and do you prefer a cowl or a scarf? Like a long cowl that's,
No, a scarf. I don't think she's never lived above the Mason-Dixon line. I don't know if she
oh,
would
okay,
with it.
gotcha.
I gotta tell you a funny story though, because I met her through my academic organizations, and we were I have no clue what town we were in, what city we were in, but we went to a Nigerian restaurant, and the food comes on a giant platter of bread, and all the food
You eat with your hands.
sits there for a minute or two, not even, and she opens her purse and takes out a fork and knife that she had brought with her because she's
Uh,
I just can't do it.
she did her research.
Well, yeah,
Before-
she did. And I said, "Do you always carry that with you?" She goes, "Yes, I do." She probably,
That's fabulous, though.
isn't it? She's just adorable, and she's very talented. You know,
Yeah. And the butternut scarf is pretty easy to do. It doesn't have a lot of yarn overs, but it's a really cool, intuitive, understandable pattern. And that's nice because both sides are pretty, even though they're different.
oh, that's nice. That is a good idea.
And it's very feminine, and if you wanted to make it into a stole, you could just, double the width.
Sure.
This is Cindy, and I am working on a little Miss Doolittle.
Oh, cool.
That's beautiful.
Oh, it's
Look how
gorgeous.
cute that is. Isn't that cute with the pleats?
And what is that?
It's actually a yarn I inherited from one of my friends who passed,
Oh, how
So-
sweet. So, yeah.
but
oh,
I
it's
did want
beautiful.
to use the pattern.
Oh, it is nice.
That's really nice.
Thank you.
Sure. Hey, I also have to tell you all a sad story. Well, it's not really sad, but so I live in Sandusky, Ohio, and I'm about 2 hours from Ann. So yesterday I was on a bus trip with my mom to Gervasi Winery.
Oh,
it
no
just-
way.
It just hurt so bad to be so close. And
Oh, that's too bad.
I know.
And you couldn't get the whole bus to just stop on the way home.
Well, it was funny. We had at least one other knitter on our bus, and we also went through Lodi, Ohio, and there's a shop there. And
Yeah,
I
the
heard
black.
somebody in the
black
back
one.
of the bus say, so it was funny.
Nearest airport, Anne.
Sorry,
What's your nearest airport?
Akron Canton. It's like 20 minutes away, tops. Yeah,
it
it's really
real
close.
Tiny.
What?
Is it still real tiny? The Akron Canton Airport?
Yeah, they haven't really increased the size of it. But I like that about it.
We have,
ha-
when I, last time we flew out of it, the person took our tickets, put our bags on the plane, and then got in and flew it.
yeah, yeah. They but I find that on a lot of flights from a lot of airports now. The people at the gate are the flight attendants, and yeah.
I love our, Rhode Island has its own international airport. I love it that we've enlarged from its original size to 23 gates.
Yeah, because it flies to like Prince Edward Island or wherever.
Yeah, actually, I think there's Aer Lingus comes, but it's so much better than like driving to Boston.
Oh yeah, totally. It's worth if the ticket is extra money, I always pay it to get on here because it's an hour and a half to Cleveland and an hour and a half back. I mean, come on. And all the flights I ever have to take leave at 5:30 in the morning. So come on.
Exactly. Thanks for all the help. I'll be searching for it soon.
Oh yeah, I was looking at patterns to see what else. So is it a scarf that you're making or a
Well,
stole?
yeah, the answer to that question would be yes. I think she would wear a stole or a wide scarf, just something.
Uh-huh. I mean, you know how to make it wider. It's not like you need,
No.
yeah, okay. Um,
I'm spit splicing my yarn and thinking of when Sherry was doing it for your sample in the shop, how she spit spliced it to her cast on tail. And trying to be sure that I don't do that.
That's a good one.
I would be the type of person who would pay really close attention and then do it anyway.
What does that mean? What you're doing?
spit
Spit
splicing.
splicing?
Uh-huh.
Well, I could show you what I'm doing. Anne has a video, I'm sure, but you
Yeah,
take
it's a-
apart your yarn into.
It's a way of
a
joining your
ply.
yarn so it's like got an invisible join and no knot.
And it works for
And-
all, it has to be all wool, and it can't be
And then you,
what is it,
It works with protein fibers. So any protein fibers.
so then you sort of twist and twist back and forth. Who asked, was that you, Courtney?
Yes.
And then this isn't finished, but you do that a whole lot with each. I happen to have 3 strands, so I'll do it 3 times. And then watch Anne's YouTube. I'm sure you have one, right, Anne?
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yeah. You spit on your hand and rub the ends together basically, and it will felt them together. And saliva acts as a catalyst for the protein in the fiber to felt. So that's
why
where the
you lick
that's
your
where the
finger.
spitting comes from.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
The enzymes in your saliva kickstart the felting process there. So it doesn't hurt the yarn.
Wow.
I tend to lick my hands. Make sure there's nothing in my mouth.
Don't be chewing any chocolate or anything at the time.
But it's a little bit of magic. I always think of knitting as magic anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of magic. Hi, Robin. I see you there knitting.
Hi, Elizabeth. I mean, Betsy, sorry.
You can call me what- It even says Betsy right there.
I know it does, but isn't that for Elizabeth?
Yes, it is. I do know a couple Betsy's who are just Betsy, but my mother didn't think it was a real name, so she named me Elizabeth and always called me Betsy.
Wow.
That's how I know someone doesn't know me, though, when they refer to me as Elizabeth or unforgivable Liz. Don't you hate it when people who don't know you shorten your name?
Or lengthen it. People who don't know me call me Annie a lot. And I'm like, that's not my name.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
On another note, I had a colleague in graduate school whose name was Annie, and her Italian grandmother or their Italian or Greek grandmother named her and thought it was Annie. I'll should get to be Annie.
My grandfather used to pronounce my name Anna. Anna. He's, it made me smile.
Well, the E doesn't have to be silent.
We would tease him that he was saying it backwards. Which was horrible of us, teasing our own grandparents about their accents.
And did the delivery of the pattern go better for everyone? Mine's always done good, so.
I think so.
Good.
We didn't get a big flood of questions. I think a couple people still couldn't figure out how to get their pattern, but as far as I know, it went fine.
So Courtney, here's what it looks like when you're done. It's not exactly like I'm trying to figure out how you can see it. It's a little lumpier than the actual yarn, but you hardly see it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not even particularly well versed in this, so I'm still a beginner.
I didn't even know that was an option. So.
And there's another version of it on. So we have a YouTube channel, the Knit Spot YouTube channel, and all those videos are there. The video tutorials I have are there, but there's another version of that I created to do with striping. So if you're changing colors and you want like a start stop of 2 colors in one spot, there's a video of how to do it with a spit splice instead of a knot or whatever.
Wow, that's brilliant. I'll have to look at that.
And the advantage is you have no ends to tag in at the when you finish. It's very tidy and it looks like one complete gigantic ball.
Yeah, I wish I knew that earlier. Oh well. I do have a question. I think I have a lag on my computer. Sorry about that. But if you have a bunch of yarn, leftover yarn, but it's all different types of yarn, is there any possibility to make something with all that yarn for one project and not totally end up with a mess? Like if it's different.
It's similar weight, like if it's all fingering weight, or you could do scrappy socks or scrappy hat, or it works better if you use similar weights together. But if you do have to use 2 different weights together, you can always do something that mixes the 2 weights really well, like a mosaic knit pattern or a striping pattern where you're constantly alternating the 2 weights. And even then you can use 2 different weights.
And you would just change the needle size so you don't have to worry about anything?
No, I mean, if the weights are close enough, like fingering and DK or DK and worsted, you could probably stick to the same needles and you would it would have its own kind of texture, but it would be consistent across your fabric if the stitch pattern mixed the yarns really well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Here's a lot of patterns on Ravelry for scraps.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll have to look because I have all this random yarn.
Yeah, there's all kinds of like the hexy puffs. They're like little puffs to make a quilt, and scrappy squares and all kinds of stuff.
People often have leftover sock yarn from socks. And my friends, some of them took up crocheting to do it as crochet, and they'll just crochet 1 or 2 rows and pick the colors and do it, and you get this pretty scrappy blanket.
Yep. Wow. So crocheting mystifies me. I just can't do it. I can't.
I saw a cool pattern, Stephen West. I think it's called Painted Windows. You can use all kinds of different stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I'm doing a habitation throw.
Sorry?
Habitation throw. It's going to grow into a big lap blanket. That's all left over fingering weight.
Yeah. I was going to say the other thing is there's this cool project called a temperature blanket.
Yeah.
So you get all your yarns out and you separate it into, like, let's say a rainbow of cool and warm tones, and every day you knit a few rows of garter stitch on it in the temperature, in the yarn that you feel reflects the temperature of the day.
Ah,
So over the course of a year, it progresses through your palette, and I've seen some really pretty ones in that.
I think Dave did one.
David, yeah,
Dave.
David did one, David Anthony, and but on Instagram I saw a bunch of them last year. It was a big project, I think. But I thought that was pretty cool because you could use scraps for it.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up. Thank you. Great ideas.
Some of my friends are doing mitered square blankets, throws
Yeah.
out of leftover sock yarn. But yeah, I guess you could do it with any way.
You can always make a 10-stitch blanket. You know, the flaky brown stuff.
I have a question, Anne.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned last time that you don't really count or whatever, that you just look at your knitting. Do you have some clues about that?
What what I'm knitting on, like this?
Yeah. Like even with this pattern that we're working, we were talking about using Knit Companion or using charts and stuff. And obviously you would look at the chart, but you talked about that you don't really count, that you're just paying attention to
Yeah, I
looking
kind of,
at the knitting.
yeah, I mean, I have almost a photographic memory for like visual patterns. So if I've got the chart there, I just literally just have to glance at it once in a while to remember what, at the start of a pattern row. And I'm not bragging or anything. It's just like,
No,
that
just-
is like, it just comes naturally to me that way. But I feel like after like starting with this new clue, the pattern will pull together to have some really regular number counts. So that should help you. And then certain things about the lines, crisscrossing and everything are gonna start to have regularity as well. So I always rely on those things a lot. The rhythm of the pattern and like that. And I guess just the way the fabric feels, I guess my hands are pretty sensitive, and just the way the fabric feels, I kind of know when I'm coming to a pattern stitch. I know none of this is helpful.
It actually is in a way, because yeah. I mean, I was curious. I was thinking it wasn't something that you could just say, oh, you just do this and then it's automatic.
Yeah, there really isn't a technique to it because there's all different kinds of stitch patterns. When I teach beginning lace, one of the things I teach people about reading their knitting is that almost every pattern, because it's a pattern and because it's repeatable, almost every pattern has some kind of landmark stitches in it for you, so that you can zero in on that. Whatever your pattern is, you can identify for you what is the landmark stitch. Is it the double decrease at the center of the motif? Is it a series of yarn overs that are progressing toward each other and then away? That there are certain elements of every pattern that are going to be the same because it's a repeating element, it's a whole repeating picture. So once you can figure out what those are for you, those become your stitch markers, so to speak. So if you get to where the double decrease should be and you recognize, oh, the double decrease should be here, but for some reason your pattern isn't at that point, you've made a mistake. So you can quickly get your get yourself to identify mistakes within your 8-stitch or 12-stitch repeat instead of getting to the end of the row and finding out that you're wrong at that point.
Mhm. And some of
the-
it, if you don't
the-
have the photographic memory, some of it's just practice
Right.
or getting tuned into it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I talk about this too, that I find that knitters kind of fall into two groups naturally, like linear knitters who knit one stitch after the other, and they like the written instructions because they just do one thing after the other from the beginning to the end of the row. And then there are more architectural knitters who like charts generally because they can look at it and see the shapes that they're going to be making, and they see what they're building and they're knitting. And neither one is better than the other. You know, people who are more linear tend to read instructions better and tend to catch all the little nuances in the text. And people who are architectural have a little bit more overall understanding of what they're building as they go. And so they're a little more intuitive. But if you can identify that you yourself fall into one or the other of the categories, it's helpful to develop some skills in the category that you're not in so that you can be a better reader of your patterns or a better reader of your knitting, one or the other.
Cool. Yeah, I've been working on it for a while. And I think I started out pretty linear, and now I'm trying to be more conscientious about looking at what came before. It's usually covered up by my fingers, but I'm getting more of a sense of how that builds, and also the rhythm of the pattern that I do.
And, you know,
start to
even if you
recognize
don't like using charts, that's where the chart can be helpful just by being available, is that you can see the yarn over progressions and you can see the decrease progressions. You can kind of see the shapes that your stitches should be making in your fabric.
Yeah, I've actually gotten to where I much prefer the charts than the written. I get lost in the written.
It's easy to get lost in some of those long written out rows.
And even some of the chart ones, like I went through and made grid lines, so I knew,
Mhm.
you know, 5, 10, 15, and then that helped me to count and to figure out where I was in the count.
Mhm. Well, you can even use your written instructions for that. You know,
Yeah.
the written instructions do tell you like to knit 15. And you
Yeah.
could just go through and write that on your chart.
I've been doing that row by row, so I wouldn't get confused about which row I was on. It's like, okay, I'll do my purl row, and then I'll go in and write the numbers and follow that, just because it's easy. It's hard for me to just look at the rows of squares and count without some kind of marking on it.
Mhm.
Thanks. That was helpful.
I hope so.
Definitely try Knit Companion for a week for free.
Yeah, I think I might.
Elizabeth's on, so she can answer any questions you have.
Elizabeth, they've got the software on the Mac desktop now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, I just downloaded it yesterday.
Oh, terrific.
And I got the magic marker to do the charts. That's pretty cool.
That's kind of exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Looks like all these bright colors staring at you.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Echo.
I can't stay. I have other appointments.
Oh, with your real friends?
You guys are my real friends. So believe me, I look so forward to this, and maybe one week I can stay. I'm teaching summer school.
Oh, wow.
I think should have been out loud outlawed by the Geneva Convention. 15 weeks of class into 5, and then I have to grade everything. I don't understand. I don't understand. So, but thanks for all the help. I'll probably be looking up a pattern in the next day or so and have something else to work on so I don't finish this. I'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye, Betsy.
Betsy.
Bye. Bye, Debbie. Bye, everyone. Where's my... Oh.
I will be right back.
Is everybody working on their third clue?
Halfway through.
Second
one.
clue, great.
Do you mean
Yeah.
you're not done with yours yet? You're usually almost done right now.
Oh, mine's done. I
Yeah,
finished it this morning, yeah.
No, I'm working on the second because I didn't knit in the car. I didn't dare to knit in the car with all the going everywhere.
Probably best to pay attention until you've got an
Yeah,
established pattern to
exactly.
follow.
And we were tired, you know, we did it in 6 days, so we were tired evenings. But it was a good time. And Robin, I saw you on the Instagram.
Yes.
Cute picture.
Thanks. We had a fun day.
Yeah, it looked really fun.
We had so much fun. I met Betsy at one of the yarn stores in Rhode Island because it was Worldwide Knit in Public
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah.
So 2 of my friends and I went on like a road trip. It really was a road trip, but because Knit New Haven is 2.5 hours away.
Oh,
So
wow.
we drove to Rhode Island first and stopped at that new yarn shop and celebrated. Her name is Lori and she opened up a yarn store. So we celebrated that. That's where I met Betsy. And then we drove to Knit New Haven because those 2 gentlemen, they're married and they're so nice and they do a YouTube, I don't know what you call it. They have a YouTube channel and they talk
Yeah.
about yarn and patterns and all kind of different things. And my friend Olivia is like addicted to them. So she was the one that was like, if they said they're going to be there, let's do a road trip and go and meet them. So we did. And it was just by luck that it was cool enough that I grabbed my sweater. I said, I'm not going to go to a knitting, thing to promote knitting and not wear something I made. So I finally had a legit, let's show it in public sweater. So I wore it and man, everybody was feeling it and touching it. And I was like, hey,
yeah.
you want to try it on? You can try it on. Oh, you want to touch it? You can touch it, So it was really nice. So thanks. So you're in Maine?
I am in Maine.
That's
yes.
excellent. I know.
Yes. Yeah.
So you want to help?
I gotta go, guys. Nice to see everyone. It's been forever
Okay.
for me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Robin, you make an excellent ambassador.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
I checked
I
out
looked for that
those 2 guys and
podcast.
they mentioned it on their latest show. They mentioned you and the pattern you gifted his home office and
Right.
yeah.
And so Kevin is the one with the beard that I gifted his home office because during COVID and maybe even right now, he had to work from home. They closed down the office that he worked in. So he had to work from home. So that sweater, like it fits his person. And then Ray is the darker haired one. He's a nurse. And I tried to gift him multigrain and he loved it. I showed him the pictures and everything and told him I was gifting it, but I spelt his Ravelry name wrong. So some woman that has the name Solaris that I spelt wrong, she got gifted the multigrain pattern. Yeah, and it can't be undone. I reached out to Anne and sent her an email, but it can't be undone. So she hasn't sent a thank you to me.
I gave it to him though. I gave it to him that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ian gifted it to Ray. So Ray has the pattern that was meant for him. So that's really good. But the lady that got the pattern, she's the one that hasn't said thank you. Although she did tell me, she did send me a message saying that I sent it to the wrong person.
Oh.
So at least she
didn't
did
say-
that.
It's
But-
true she can't do anything about it except thank you for your mistake.
I hope she makes it. You know what I should do? I should scope out her project pages and see if she knits it. She should knit it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of an encouragement in there.
Yeah, I'll
So-
send her a message and I'll say, lucky for you, you get a free Ann Hansen knit spot pattern. And I hope you enjoy knitting it. Well, may I suggest Stone Soup DK? I'm learning. You know who's teaching me? Catherine. She's teaching me her enabler
Enabling
skills.
yeah.
Wait till my robin's nest is done. You think I was rocking her home office. Whew. Let me tell you, I'm gonna go on a road trip to every yarn store local and wear that baby.
I love it. You're gonna be the belle of the ball at Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll be the one that Catherine will hold up like a little where's Waldo, because I can't go to Rhinebeck.
A flat
Oh,
robin. It'll be,
Yes,
you'll be
that's
the
it.
flat robin.
That's it. That's the name. Yes, yes. Yeah.
But she needs multiple copies in different sweaters because you gotta have your home office and your
right.
Carissa and your,
Cam Cable. Those are the
Yeah,
three
your
I
Cam
have knit. I'll have to, my daughter did that for her students during COVID because she teaches kindergarten and they were really sad and the mothers were calling and saying the kids were crying and they missed her and stuff. So she made those a little like picture of her on looks like a popsicle stick or a tongue depressor.
yeah.
And she sent them to the kids.
Oh,
And they were taking their pictures with her. And I mean, it was hysterical. She said, Mom, no, it cheered them up.
Yeah.
So,
Sweet.
And
Yes.
everybody else is working on Clue 3. I'm the only slacker in this group.
No such thing in this group.
well, I'm on Clue 3 because I'm slacking off on other projects.
Oh, good for you.
And I'm working on a project from 2016, I think, and the peaches in
Thank-
2016. So
What are you working on? Oh, that's so pretty.
Flummery.
The flumery, yeah.
Yeah, so pretty.
that's
It
at
is.
least 4 years. No, 3 years maybe.
Can you
Hey,
show
David.
that again, please?
Ravelry will tell me how much slacking off.
It
I've been
open. I can't get it open.
Is that brioche?
No,
to wait?
This is like this.
Oh, it couldn't be easier. It's just,
Yeah, super easy. You just have to know how to count.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Is that on, Raul?
Actually, this is, Anne, do you recognize this? This is
Sky Ladder. I can't see it.
Sarah.
It's
Oh,
gorgeous.
Is it all done?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let me just separate
Okay,
it here.
talk, Jose.
La 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 la. There you go.
wow.
Mm,
Oh, it
Gorgeous.
smells divine.
beautiful.
So it's hanging around on my couch here for a while until I decide to send it off.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, Kaya's on vacation, so she can't photograph it till later anyway.
Yeah.
In the yak and silk, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so patient. Thank you.
I loved it. But never doing too, like, first of all, I should have read your instructions. I'm architectural. Because, you know, you put them on waste yarn, but then you pick them up to finish the last half. So thinking I knew what you wanted me to do, I knit the 2 halves. And then, so then I had a long 147 stitch Kitchener row to do.
It is, it is a long Kitchener,
Yeah.
but spit splicing works if you run out of yarn when you Kitchener too.
That's all I had left. That's all I have left from my 2 skeins.
Oh,
Wow.
I think that's 5 grams.
What did it call for? Did it call, so that was like 1,500 yards, right?
That's, yeah, that's 760 each, yeah.
What did the pattern call for?
I blocked to measurement. 24 by 84 was the final size. I don't recall. Let me check. Yeah, 1,100 to 1,600.
Oh, 1,600. So
Yeah,
that makes sense then.
yeah, yeah,
That's right on target.
yeah. Yeah, this one's been on, oh no, it started this in 2019, so it's not that old,
No, it's not.
but it needs to be finished so I can wear it.
It's so pretty. I really like how that one looks like almost like a Missoni fabric or something.
Yeah, you know, this would make a lovely summer top.
Mhm.
Something like this in the two yarns. It's just,
Okay, I'll put it on my list.
yes, please.
I agree. That would be pretty. And it's
It
a
would be
nice
so
little,
comfortable to wear, yeah.
it's a nice collaboration to do with somebody too.
Yeah. Hello, Nadine.
Hello,
Have you been here all along or are you just popping in
I
now?
just got in, just got in.
Okay. I thought you must have been lurking. I didn't see you.
I was doing strawberries, so I had to make sure my hands were clean before I knit.
Yep.
Strawberry juice and wool figured would probably not be a good combination.
No.
What were you doing with your strawberries?
They were just fresh picked, so I just cut them up, and usually I put them in a bag, like a measured 2-cup bag. So if you want to make jam, it's already pre-measured, because when you take it out and thaw it, it's already basically a pulp. Or if you're having company over, you just grab so many bags and then sort it. But this time I thought what I would do is what a friend did, is just freeze them. I don't do it quite whole. I sliced them up and then put them on a tray and froze it that way, and then put them in a bag so that when you take it out, they're sliced frozen. So
Mm.
not as pulpy. I thought that would be kind of different.
I tend to freeze mine whole in a yogurt container so they don't get squished.
Yeah.
And they freeze whole, and then I move them into one of those vacuum seal bags, and then you can seal it so it doesn't get freezer burn.
Yes.
And then you have the whole strawberries.
Yeah.
I do the same with the raspberries.
I just tend to eat mine.
Well, we usually go out and there's so many of them, and I usually just can't stop getting them, so I keep going at it. So they have to be frozen. You can only eat so many.
I'm going to cook dinner. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
She's on East Coast time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Anne, now that I remember, which one of the yarns did you say was best for temperature control, like when it's really hot and muggy?
Oh, the Modern Deco Tencel is a temperature regulating fiber.
Okay.
So it will absorb moisture and wick it away from your body, which is nice in the summer, and also in the winter if you're doing something strenuous outdoors. It's a life-saving kind of good thing.
Okay.
But it will make you warm in the winter and cooler in the summer. It has that ability.
Perfect. We're getting hit with kind of not so nice hot weather. Very hot, very fast.
I forget, you're in Toronto or near Toronto, is that right?
Vancouver.
I'm on the other coast. West
Oh,
coast.
Vancouver. Oh, okay, sorry.
Above, no, that's fine. I'm above Seattle. We have similar weather.
That's what Audrey was saying. It's going to be 100 over the weekend or something.
Yeah.
That's
Very
what they
hot.
say for Seattle. I don't know. Are you going to be that hot, Nadine?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Seattle is only 2.5 hours away from me. We're getting hit with the same thing.
Yeah.
Hi, Anne.
And
Must be warmer in California. You're not wearing a big sweater.
It is warmer, but it's not 100 like it was earlier on the weekend. It's only 85 today.
Oh,
I-
85.
It'll be 100 again on the weekend.
But this is like the first we've seen you without a turtleneck and a cardigan, is what she's saying.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I do have thin blood and I get chilled easily.
Yeah, I mean, it got pretty chilly here, so I've been wearing sweatshirts the last couple days.
Did I miss show and tell?
We didn't really do it.
We didn't really have show and tell.
Everybody's doing the same thing.
Well, there is that.
I was looking at last week's video for some reason. I can't remember why now, and I realized I've actually made quite a bit of progress on this sweater. 'Cause in last week's video, it was like that, you know, and I thought it was I thought I had been much further along, but I'm excited.
I just like that you've got all this inspiration. So you got all these patterns floating around in the atmosphere above your head. And I'm going, be nice to have a talent like that.
Yeah, I have a long to-do list. But I do like Jose's idea of making some kind of t-shirt out of that flumery pattern.
Yeah,
Just to have that staff.
this one, Nan.
Oh, yeah, I loved that
I
scarf.
said, wouldn't this make a great summer top?
Really would.
Yeah.
Well, it gave me something to look forward to do last night when it was starting to cool. Well, when it was starting to cool down. The only problem was there was these little critters that came out that I'm sure you guys have never heard of. They have little wings and they fly and they like to eat off me, otherwise known as mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
I have bites everywhere on my neck, and they're not very nice. You know, they go for your knuckles in between your fingernail. Oh. So then I came indoors.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Marie got to Maine just in time for black fly season, right? Isn't it?
No, that's done. That's
Is it all
earlier.
done? Oh, good.
Earlier, yeah. It's mosquitoes now.
Where I live, they've been spraying almost every night.
Mm.
Plane
Okay.
flies over. We've got the big blackwoods. I'm on the edge of the Everglades. Big
But
black
aren't they
mosquitoes.
they're doing some kind of experimental program down there in the Everglades where they're spraying for or they're hatching not genetically modified, but basically genetically modified mosquitoes so that resists like the viruses and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard about
And
that.
it's a type of mosquito that will also, if I'm not mistaken, and the scientists in the crowd can correct me, but they self-correct on their population or something like that. You know, they're not as prolific and don't carry the diseases. I was listening to it on the radio the other day. It was really interesting, but I can't remember all the facts now. Something to look up on Google.
I heard about that though. Yeah.
Yeah.
They use really old insecticides here instead of, good larvicide, but I mean, they're everywhere. You can't go through
Yeah.
the part of the house without getting chewed alive.
And this is an attempt to cut back on some of that. And, it's more environmentally friendly to fix them before they come out than to kill them later.
I
and
always
hope
worry
for the
about genetically altering.
Yeah.
Like what the damage is going to be in the long run.
Uh-huh.
Always worry about that. But I don't like mosquitoes though, so could use a few less.
Yeah, they got a nasty bite.
Yeah.
But I think what really bugs me is their noise. Like when they're buzzing, it drives me really.
I was raised in Stuttgart, Arkansas, the rice and duck capital of the world. And we would go crappie fishing and had to portage some land to get to the place where we were going. And I said, my goodness, I hear an airplane. And all of a sudden, my friend was covered head to toe, and I couldn't breathe without breathing in mosquitoes in my mouth. They were in my nose and my ears. It was like a dive bomber had attacked us. So we ran as fast as we could and dived and went out to the middle of the lake. Oh, that's
Yeah,
bad.
I find that when mosquitoes are bad, my walking in the park is much faster. I try to stay ahead of them.
Oh, it's funny.
I'm one of those people that mosquitoes don't really bother as much. Like they eat David alive, but I don't really get bit anywhere near as much as some people do. But there's this lady, she's a fiber person. She's got an Etsy shop. She makes lotion and stuff like that. Her lotion is like the shepherdess, and she makes insect repellent out of jewel weed. It's really good. It comes in a little spray bottle, not aerosol, just a regular spray bottle. And everything she makes on her body products, she donates to animal rescue.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if I can find it. And like last time I went to buy the insect repellent, it wasn't in her Etsy shop, and I just messaged her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I have it. I just didn't put it. I just didn't list it." So I'll try to find the link and put it on and try to put it in the chat. Hang on one second.
That'd be fun.
Let's see.
Well, while we're talking about science, I was watching a recorded session of the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. And they were talking about navigational north is not at Canada anymore. It's edging towards Siberia. I guess the planet is at a different angle, or the magnetic field is changing. Isn't that something?
I heard that some of those enormous earthquakes that we've had have actually shifted the Earth on its axis, and even to the point where over time it's going to change like the cycles of the calendar or whatever, incrementally, not in a huge way that we're going to ever see. But anyway.
So you guys will then become the North Pole and I'll become Hawaii then.
This would cause some of those big vortexes this winter. Because the vortex starts to wobble, and the heavy weather comes a little further south. Which we didn't mind down here. It was nice, cool weather.
Finding it much easier to read the pattern on my knitting now. It's a whole lot easier to keep track of where the twists are coming.
It's just going to get easier and easier, I think.
Oh, yay. Also, the rows get shorter, so that helps too.
That too, yeah.
I don't have so far to back up.
It's really a nice, manageable clue.
Yeah.
Every week. Yeah.
I love the edge
Yeah.
Oh, the edge is
That
beautiful.
diagonal edge,
It's
I was like,
beautiful.
Is this on any other pattern? I have to find one and make it."
Yeah, it is very handsome.
Yeah.
I like the way the pattern's developing, the idea that you had. Very nice. One of my favorite shapes.
Is it the same edge, that diagonal edge that was on the postage stamp?
No,
No,
I don't
That-
think so.
I wonder.
yeah, that was just a knit two together
Okay,
all the
Yeah.
way up. But this is actually a band,
it's beautiful.
a twist stitch with twist stitches in it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, our fence on the garden is up to 9 feet tall now.
Wow.
The deer have gotten into the green beans twice,
Yep.
my beets once. So I told my neighbors we're beginning to resemble Caddyshack.
Yeah, it amazes me how high the deer can jump when they are getting to the garden.
Maybe the sound of a dog barking?
No, no, they are so tame.
Oh,
How big is your garden?
It is about 16 by 32 maybe. It's not very big. We were going to make it bigger this year, but my neighbor, the young couple that have helped me with put the garden in and everything, the wife is pregnant with their first child, and so they decided, well, it was a community decision not to make the garden bigger this year, that we'll wait another year. So
So how do you make your fence taller? Is it a new fence every time or you add to it or what?
no, we keep adding looks like the Clampets live here. We keep on and putting up higher and higher chicken wire. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Sounds
you
like our
have a
house.
tasty garden.
A what garden?
Tasty.
Tasty, yeah.
I hope so.
We've been eating lettuce and I've been giving it to people to take home from work. It's so yummy.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't grown lettuce for years because the last couple times I did it long ago, it was bitter. I didn't care for it. So, but I bought some plugs at the organic plant sale and boy, they worked out great. I'm looking for that soap store. I don't find it.
I'm working on squall in my Kent lace.
Mhm.
And I had to tear back, I don't know what I did. My count is off at the end of MB.
Mm.
And so I ripped out and then I picked up and then tinked back a couple rows to make sure I have all the stitches. So I'm counting to make sure I've got all the stitches picked up. Heaven forbid I put a lifeline in.
It seemed like such a good idea, and I never remembered to do it.
Neither do I. I'm too anxious just to get on with the pattern.
Yeah.
I usually don't have to rip out though, and this has got me stymied.
I have a friend who keeps ripping things out and starting over and ripping things out and starting over. And I was like, what's the deal with that woman? And now lately I've been doing that a lot. Like I should never even think such thoughts about somebody doing that. I decided it was contagious.
It is.
I would always tell people I get to knit my yarn twice, so I don't spend as much money.
It
That's
like that.
scary.
doesn't seem to slow that down.
Is there like a time frame of when the yarn's no good to be reknit?
Oh, like how many times do you unknit it before you?
No, like if you make a mistake like within the first few days that it's knit up, can you just reuse the yarn?
You can reuse it indefinitely until it starts to look nasty.
Yeah.
Mine's getting a little fuzzy, but at the beginning, it's starting to look decent now that I'm not ripping it out every row.
And that's where the unwashed yarn, that still has a spinning oil on it is helpful because it has, the oil keeps the fibers nice and compact and they won't get as fuzzy as easily,
That's cool. But it's not going to hurt it.
No. It's going to bloom afterward anyway, so.
That's a good thing.
Now there are yarns that aren't strong that will weaken from being pulled out too many times, but if any of our yarns shouldn't be like that. We don't sell anything that's that delicate. Although, I mean, like cashmere, if you use cashmere over and over and over again, it's gonna, the fiber is so short that it will get pulled out of the yarn, eventually it'll wear it out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be using cashmere anytime soon.
Never say never.
Unless I hit the lottery.
It goes a long way though, doesn't it?
Yes. We had these little 2-ounce skeins that we sold that they were 400 something yards. I mean, they weren't nothing, but oh, what's her name? Made her cowl with it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Carrie.
Carrie made a cowl, and she kept knitting and knitting, and we kept saying, "Oh, just use up the yarn," and the cowl ended up being like a good, probably 20 inches or something deep. We were laughing about it, but lovely. Who wouldn't want a great big pile of of cashmere all for yourself?
That's good.
So Anne, I was going to tell you last week after I finished my Unbroken, I realized that I had blocked the pieces fairly aggressively because I was afraid it wasn't going to fit. No, it didn't look right. It was too big. I just soaked the whole thing in hot water, like you said, and reblocked it, and it
was fine. Yeah.
So it made me feel better. I keep going, really?
So you didn't originally block it to the measurements in the schematic? You blocked it bigger?
I blocked it a little bit bigger on each side. I was afraid. It wasn't a lot. I mean, I think it was an inch bigger or something on the front and the back. But
that's 4 inches all the way around though.
Yeah. And it just was too big. And the on it looked messy to me.
Yeah.
I thought that was my fault. So after, when I soaked it and then laid it out, then I put it
Just
to the right
Throw
measurement.
the whole thing back in the tub. Yep.
Yeah. And it came out beautiful. My daughter said, I can't believe you made that. So thank you very much for all your expertise.
Thanks, daughter.
Yeah, right.
You're not getting one.
Yeah.
Oh, and I know what I wanted to ask you. Do you have any more of those little bee stitch markers that we got as gifts?
Yeah, we do. I think we
good.
have some left.
I was gonna say, I need to buy one because I frogged my project and I have no idea what happened to it. It
Oh,
flew away. And I was so excited when I got it in the mail. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this.
your 3.5-year-old grandson ate it when he was taking your knitting off the needles, right?
That's probably where it went. No, it was when I frogged.
Yeah. Yeah, just write to us. We don't have them listed in the store, I don't think,
All right.
but
Maybe I'll get something else because I need some more of that modern deco sport because I'm gonna do the I'm gonna do your leaving sweater in it. And I think I need like four skeins, 4 to 6 skeins, something like that. I can't remember.
nice.
So I've got 2 now. It got here late, so I started with another. I just happened to go to the yarn shop the day that it came. So it was meant to be.
Yep.
This is your practice one. You'll do another one.
I should have used something like acrylic to practice with.
No, it's not, it doesn't feel good. It would not make you want to knit it again.
I cannot stand the feel of it on my fingers.
Yep.
It's
You're going to spend all that time with something, at least like what you're touching.
exactly.
I made an Aran Afghan out of acrylic when I was in college, and I still have it just like everybody said I would, and it still feels icky. I knew I wanted to make it out of Aran yarn, and I just let them talk me out of it because it was so expensive.
A lesson learned at a young age is a good lesson, though.
Yeah, yeah. Work with good materials.
When I went to New Zealand last, I came home with half a suitcase full of yarn.
Mhm.
They have beautiful things over there. Actually had to buy a bag.
I actually have a club bag that folds up and looks like a purse. So you can have the zipper around and you can have it over your shoulder and you can put things in and, oh, this is just my purse. And then when you need it, you can pull it all out and it's actually a duffel bag. But it looks like a lady's duffel bag.
Mm-hmm.
I do that now.
So what are you working on now, Anne?
I'm working on this top. So this is the body of it. I did a linen one that's over at the house. This is the body. It's got lace insets up to the underarm.
Yeah.
And then
nice.
lace sleeves and a round neck. So it's at the, I found a tech editor and it's at the tech editor and she seems to be doing a good job. And I'm just trying to get this second one knit up so when the pattern's ready, this will be ready too.
Which base are you using?
I knit the first one with fresh lace, and
Yeah.
I knit this one with the modern deco lace.
Oh, okay. That's right. I was thinking about using my carefully hoarded fresh lace for that.
Uh-huh.
I need to finally break down and use it.
I really enjoyed knitting with that, and it's all in the round and up to the underarm, so it's pretty easy.
Ian, how did you get started designing patterns?
Oh, I've been knitting since I was a toddler, really, and sewing as well. And I literally always wanted to just make my own stuff. So I think I designed my first thing when I was like 8 years old. My brother was enamored with this nose warmer that he saw in the comic book pages. I don't remember those, like they advertised it in the newspaper, and it was literally like a cone that this beautiful woman would wear on her face and tie around her head. Like, who would wear that?
My brother gave me one.
So my brother told me, you know, he's like, you can make this. And I wasn't really quite sure how, but it was like figuring it out. And I did figure it out, but it didn't stay on. And I just thought it should stay on, you know, like I didn't realize that there was no way it was ever going to stay on. It's not, you know, it's a cone for your nose. How's it going to stay on? It's horizontal. Like, how's it going to stay on? But anyway, and I always made my own doll clothes I sewed my own doll clothes and stuff. So I always had a real interest in putting things together and just seeing what shapes would make what results and how it would work. And as a teenager, I got more serious about actually getting like good results and something I could, wear and everything. But then in terms of starting my business, I waited till the internet came around, which was many years later.
Yeah.
But I worked in the fashion business. I was a pattern maker in the fashion business from the time I was in my 20s until I was like in my 40s. So I had a lot of tailoring and pattern making experience in woven fabrics that I transferred to my knitting. And by that point, having knit many things,
Yeah.
I understood how the ideas could transfer, I guess.
Mhm.
So I always designed my own sweaters, but to design them for other people to knit, I didn't really start doing that until the 1990s or so. And even then the internet wasn't here yet, but I was teaching and writing patterns for my classes and things like that.
Yeah. It's not surprising to me that you have that kind of background, and I haven't knit a lot of your things, but just looking at your style and looking at the garments that you've shown us, they definitely have I don't necessarily want to say tailored, but almost like a couture kind of look to them. There's a real sensitivity to the shape of the body and how the pattern should be shaped to work.
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I guess I was raised in my career to understand that, you have to work with gravity when you're making garments, and number one, and number two, if you're producing garments for everyone, that the features in the garment need to scale across a size range, you know, so
Mhm.
I got used to having to meet those responsibilities in my work.
Mhm. Did you train for that, or is that something?
No,
pattern drafting?
yeah, I'm self-taught and you know, school of life taught, on the job taught. When I was coming up in the garment business, you could still get a job and learn on the job. You know, people, it
Mhm.
was still a thing. There wasn't really computerized pattern making or anything like that at the time. So you still had to drape fabric to get pattern pieces. And
I think that's a lost art. I know my grandmother was able to, with her designing, my aunt said, oh, I want that dress for grad. My grandmother said, okay, fine. And out came the newspaper and cut and made it just, and she was taught that. So when her daughter wanted something, she was able to do that. And same with her knitting. Oh, you want this to fit? And she could do that, but without, you know, any actual teaching. However, that did not transfer to the granddaughter. Too many miles in between.
to be honest, I don't know what they teach in fashion school now. I know there is a lot more, of course, there's more emphasis on computer programs and CAD software and things like that. But I also think that probably you can take draping classes if you want to, and you can still intern at for designers who expect people to have more in-depth knowledge of what fabric actually does. Because even if you're designing with software, if you're not designing for the tenor of the fabric that you're working with, you're not going to be very successful with it.
I took a pattern drafting class with a woman who's from Russia or the Ukraine, and it was fascinating. And I wish I'd been able to study with her longer, because the problem with learning from her was she was so intuitive. She understood it inside and out. And so, like, when she would make changes, it was hard for me to figure out how she figured out to make the changes. So,
Yeah.
but it's still, and she did the kind where she'd take the measurements and then block it out. So she made it completely from scratch, the pattern.
Like a bespoke, yeah.
Yeah, and then other people, there's a community college here in Houston that teaches pattern design, and I think they go from a block, a preset block, and then they teach people how to change from that, which is a little bit different approach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating to me. My brain, I think it's interesting how people can take something two-dimensional and see how to transform it to three-dimensional.
Or the yeah.
Or the other way around.
That was my thing was, I mean, people ask me like, oh, you were a designer. I'm like, I never was a designer in the fashion business. I worked with designers, you know, and took their sketches and made them into actual garments, you know, first samples.
That's a real gift.
It's interesting because I also did a lot of work in costuming, which is all custom bespoke building of costumes. And at the time, all those big fancy shows like Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera and things were coming through New York. So we were building these incredible 18th century, you know, costumes, which are built like houses. They have many layers and foundations and filler layers and undergarments and corsets and all kinds of interesting sleeve constructions. And they're very authentic to the period in many ways. And that was an incredible experience and they're bespoke, so they're made for the actor that's going to wear them.
Mhm.
And it was very interesting to fit all these different people and in this clothing that was of another time and from another mindset completely of how to put it together and everything. And we would have, like, you know, I worked in a workshop, and we all worked long hours, especially right before the show, and we'd have like all these like long discussions about sleeve caps and arm side gussets, and you know, like because there's no book, like there's no textbook about the things that you really want to know. I remember when I first went to work there, I said I was, you know, kind of new to the costuming thing, and I was like, geez, I wish I could anybody know a good book about arm or sleeve cap shaping that I could that I could read. And the two, like, kind of they weren't elderly, but they were a little older than me, and kind of like my bosses, looked at each other and started laughing. They're like, you should write it, you know. You know, if you could find one, we'd like a copy too. But we did have all these antique, like, books about different tailoring systems, you know, from different, you know, time periods and everything. And I do have a small collection of those kind of books, and they are really interesting, like, you know, the Sartor approach to menswear.
Oh yeah.
like talk about dry, but it's fascinating if that's what you do, you know.
Yeah. I saw a video on YouTube of a young woman who became enamored with old textiles garments and how they were constructed. And so she was doing hand stitching to reproduce some of the same techniques. And oh my goodness. Yeah. Very, very authentic, because, you know, she would use the kinds of thread and all kinds of stuff and then and stitch it.
Well, and when I was working in this one costume shop, that was the owner's approach whenever possible. Like, we're doing this stuff the way they would have done it, you know, pretty much. You know, she didn't want any shortcuts or anything like that, even if it would make it easier to like refit the garment. No, it had to all be done like by hand, you know, lapel rolls by hand and all that stuff. And she was very fussy.
Do you think that the actors had a different sense of how they were in those costumes than they would have been if they had just been made sort of in a more modern fashion?
Probably some of them did. I would imagine some of them did.
I remember reading about the cast for oh shoot, One Singular Sensation, Every Little Step She Takes.
Line.
Thank you. About how the performers all knew that the sequins had been sewn on by hand, and the costumes were custom made. They were bespoke, and they really said it made a difference to them. They really felt much more special knowing that that costume was as perfect as it could be for what they were doing.
Interesting.
The only thing I recall about all that is I'm so glad that I'm not back in those days when we had yesterday, and having to wear all those crinolines and the long sleeves and the high necks. I'm going, are you kidding me? I'm running around in shorts and sleeveless tops, and I'm going, okay, where's the nearest fountain? I don't do well in heat. And all the crinolines they would have had to wear. Yeah, nope.
That's why they had fainting sofas.
Yeah. I used to wear a period costume for a summer job, giving guided tours in an old fort. And the beginning of the summer, you'd go get fitted for your outfit. And there was a corset. And oh my God, at the beginning of the summer, it was like, suck it in. And they would tighten this thing on you. come the end of the summer, you could slip your arm almost down the corset. It was that big. It made a difference having something like that tight around your belly all the time.
Mhm.
The difference was you didn't eat as much,
Perhaps,
or
I don't know.
because you can't move as much because it's much harder to move, I imagine.
Yeah,
Might be good for posture.
it was good for posture and, but yeah, it was funny how at the beginning of the summer, it was like super snug. And then end of summer, it was,
Oh, we just
loose.
stretched.
Then winter came and, we went back to the next summer and it was tight again.
I had a friend who worked at Colonial Williamsburg, and he said, and of course he was in costume, and he said people would come up and pinch him because they weren't sure if he was real.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, I think so too.
Jose, did you say you finished clue 3 already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Picture. That yarn
Joy of
combo looks-
retirement.
I love the yarns you picked for that. That looks so soft.
Yeah, well, I mixed some mohair with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it looks.
Josie, what did you make? What did you use?
I used some silk and mohair. Silk and sweet Georgia yarn, cashmere silk and mohair. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
Yeah. I went with the color really because I wanted it to look like as close to honey as possible, and that's what I had in my stash. So
There you go.
yeah.
Well, there's a friend of mine who's 95. No, she's 93. And she doesn't knit anymore. And we were having an outdoor birthday celebration for her daughter. And of course, we're all 6 feet apart and having tea. And she says, I have some mohair, but can you use mohair? Can it be used for anything? I said, not a problem. We'll mix it with something else. Are you sure it can be used? I'm going, yeah, we can use it. So I thought that would be a good idea, is to find, mix whatever she's got and see what she does with that, mix it. That would be cool, and give it back to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a really lovely blanket because it's so light, but it's so warm. So if she's the kind of person who would like a lap blanket or something to throw over her leg in the winter when she watches TV.
Yeah. Actually, that would be a very good idea.
I made a Julie Hoover pullover that was one strand of fairly fine lamb's wool and one strand of a silken mohair. And it just felt really nice, knitted up really well.
Mohair and cotton.
Mohair and what?
Cotton.
Mohair and cotton.
Oh, fun.
That's an interesting combination.
It was an experiment to see how it came out, and looks just like a nice woolly fabric.
Yeah. Hey, Carrie.
Christmas is coming.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi,
You must have just snuck in.
I did.
We were taking your name in vain just a few minutes ago,
You
Yeah,
were.
absolutely.
talking about your cashmere cowl.
Oh, it's so nice. Where is it? Oh, I put it in my closet already.
I would in this weather.
It's a little warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to move. The sun is setting in my eyes.
I think that's what I'll do with my cashmere. Is exactly that cowl. Looks
I
beautiful.
did one more repeat than the pattern called for, and it was just enough. It's perfect.
Wow.
Perfect.
I think I'm making the scarf version of that, one of my many waiting to be dealt with patterns projects. I've got about
In your many project bags.
yes. I think I have about 5-6 inches done.
Which pattern is it?
White thistle.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
White thistle.
White thistle, okay.
And at the same time, there was a scarf version of that with a similar name, which I've temporarily forgotten.
I thought it was the same, white
Same
thistle.
name, I think.
Maybe it is. It's
Yeah.
yeah. I think it is now that you mention it. I'm losing track of my pattern names.
When I was knitting it, I thought it might be a little bit too snug, but it blocked out very nicely.
Oh, good.
A nice width, so I didn't feel like it was, totally
Not a collar.
not like turtlenecky, sort of more loose, a little more loose than that.
That's good.
And that would actually be a quick project as opposed to a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
So she could wear it when she goes out. Like if I made her a reasonably long cowl
Mm-hmm.
using whatever her mohair is. Good idea, folks. Thank you. I haven't got the mohair yet, though.
So did I miss anything big? Important.
It's been kind of quiet tonight.
Oh, okay.
So seems a little peaceful.
It is.
I finished my clue, and so I'm working on a non-knit spot pattern in the Bare Naked Hem Shop. And as I picked it up when I first sat down tonight to figure out where I was and continue on, I realized I did half of the A-line shaping decreases the wrong way. All of the decreases slanting the same way instead of making them go this way.
Aw, what
And
do you
then
knit?
one-
Design element?
It is called Solstice Tea.
Oh,
You know, just
that's a boho chic, right?
no, no.
Oh,
It's it is easier than I'm making it. That's one thing. It's Kate Oates.
who?
Kate Oates.
Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah.
And I don't know why it didn't occur to me that the decreases should not all face the same way, but it didn't. So, so here we go.
What I love about knitting, you can take it apart and use the material over and over again.
That's right. Let's just make it right while we're at it.
Oh,
As I was whining about this ripping out and doing it again to a friend of mine, she said, "Oh, that's a sign of a good knitter." And I thought, oh,
It doesn't feel good while you're doing it, does it?
no.
yeah, I'm not sure I agree with her, but it sounded nice.
Mhm.
I guess at least it means I know that I've done something wrong. I need to take off. It's been a pleasure, y'all. Thank you very much.
Bye, Kika. See you next week.
Night.
Bye.
Take care.
Amanda, what are you working on?
Oh, I'm working on the clue. I didn't even start working on it till tonight.
Oh, okay. Thought you might have been working on it.
I am caught up through the clue. I wasn't sure I'd be able to stay caught up on the.
Very nice.
I've had more than several people email to say that the pace is good for
It
a
is.
new.
Very manageable, yeah.
I mean, I do have several other projects on the go, but they're not working on them right now.
I had a special request for a hat. So I decided I've always wanted to do the cyclone, so
Oh, yeah.
that person is getting cyclone.
Like that hat.
That's a nice one.
I had
Yeah,
to make it out of club yarn, even though I wasn't a club member. I tracked some down and I still love that hat.
That was nice yarn.
Yeah.
That was a Tencel blend.
Yeah. And a beautiful.
Or Lyos, it was Lyocell, but Lyocell and Tencel are very, very closely related.
had a
Okay.
nice shine to it, didn't it?
Yeah.
You mean, Anne, there was a time you weren't part of the clubs?
Took me until the third club, I think, to get signed up in time. But I have all of the booklets because they're great. And I was able to track down a lot of destash of the club yarn so that I could try to do it in the original club yarns.
Good one.
Yeah, it was fun trying to catch up.
I'm going to be teaching at Madrona in February, as long as Madrona happens.
Oh,
That's
So
cool.
for you West Coast people who I never get to see,
That's close.
I'll be out there.
Is,
It's actually it's not Madrona anymore. It's the Red Alder Festival. It's Madrona. The Madrona person retired and several years ago, and they created a different festival with all the same purposes. So it's Red Alder, and it's somewhere near Seattle, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yes, I've heard of it.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah. It was canceled. I was supposed to go in February and it was canceled. And I'll be teaching 3 days. I'll be doing sweater fitness, finishing, beginning lace, and color knitting techniques.
Ooh.
A survey of color knitting technique, kind of like beginning color knitting. And I'm giving the keynote address. And I know, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but if you have like good ideas, you know, let me know.
It's in downtown Tacoma, according to this. So yeah, just south of Seattle.
Mhm.
Well, actually, Anne, just what you were telling us about how your pattern making days transition nicely into
the arc. He did say that people love a good personal journey story, and you know, so I guess I'll have to figure that out. I've given that talk before, but it's been a while since I edited it or anything, so I'll have to make it new again.
And there will be a lot of new audience too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also speak on why you go for natural yarns as opposed to some of the other ones.
Yeah. And I think,
What
you know,
the
a lot of people,
advantages are. Yeah.
lots of people want to know, like, how do you end up with your own business? And, you know, give me encouragement so I could do it. Like, it helps to be insane.
It helps to have a good team and a good partner.
Yeah, I didn't have, I mean, I did it, I started by myself though, you know what I mean? You built, you know, unless you're funded or something, you wouldn't have a good team to start off with, or any team. But
Oh, you put
but
David
you can
to work.
What's that?
You put David to work pretty early, didn't you?
It was like the 3rd year. So the first 2 years I did it completely by myself.
That's a lot.
And then I'm trying to remember. He started helping me ship patterns when we were doing a lot of wholesale. And then when my friend Cookie was like, you should do a club.
Oh yeah.
You know, he was like, yeah, we should do a club. And I'm like, if we do a club, I don't want anything to do with mailing lists and packaging. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I'm not
a lot of work.
No, not that it's a lot of work, but it's not the best use of my time.
No.
You know, if I have to design all the stuff, I'm like, if I have to design the cook, and you know, I don't want to be worrying about where someone's package is sitting tomorrow, you know.
Yep.
So he promised he would do that. And that's when he came into the business a little more full, you know, a little more like seriously.
When did he start taking the photographs?
And so that was, yeah, he did do the photography. You're right. Yeah. So
one of
he
the
liked
things I
that
love
part
about those.
initially. But I did, but he only took the photographs of like my patterns. I mean, I did all the blog photography and all the flat lay photography, and I still did probably more than half of it.
Sure. You had to be in the
and
other
in the beginning, yeah, yeah, he took all the pictures where I'm in it. And even sometimes I did those. There were some days that I couldn't get him out of bed or whatever.
Hard to do the good photo shoots in the middle of
time.
the night.
Uh-huh.
I love it when I carry on a conversation and I forget I'm on mute. Did you notice in the forum that people are already starting to talk about their Rhinebeck sweaters?
Yep.
Yes. With your encouragement, Elizabeth.
Oh, I did not stir the pot, not me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there was a question.
Well, it is.
Sorry.
It is getting to be that time. It's getting to be that time, you know, for people to start.
Yep. A question came up on the forum about how to submit ideas for the name of the mystery shawl. Because somebody said, how do you do
just
that?
email Jeeves. Just email Jeeves at knitspot.com and tell us
Okay,
what your
I'll put that in the thread then, so people figure it out. I think she thought there might be some formal process.
No,
It's in the
at least we
email
haven't.
that came out. The email we just got. It said at the very bottom, submit your ideas for the name.
Right.
People don't read email.
Well, she saw that part, but she thought there was some kind of special way to submit the name idea.
Yeah, I think just your fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad you figured out what I was trying to say on mine. A typo.
Yeah. And I made a list on we have a Trello board where we communicate with each other, and I made a list. I set up a list there, and we're all adding, whoever sees that those emails come in are adding the names to the list.
Oh, good.
So we've probably got 8 or 9 so far.
Cool.
Where there was just one when the email went out. So
I'm sort of waiting to see a little more what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do it at any time. Although we'll probably want all the suggestions in before the very last, so that people can vote, which we still have to figure out how we're going to do that. Probably a survey.
Mm-hmm.
The Sparks Brothers movie last night. It was so good. So if it comes to your town, and you like music, and you know, pop music, and especially pop music from the 70s through the present time, which covers a lot. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I really enjoyed it.
And do you wear a mask when you're in the movie theater?
We don't have to if we're vaccinated here. We have in Ohio hit 50% vaccination. I wish it was higher, but and we've been we haven't been wearing it. When we go to the theater, it's usually to the latest show, and we're usually the only people in the theater. Last night there was one other guy like all the way on the other side, and another couple like 10 rows in front of us. So we're usually spread out quite a bit.
Yeah, that sounds pretty spread out. We went away over the weekend over to Eastern Washington, where it's known to be a little less vaccinated. And I just wondered if I might continue to wear a mask, even though I have been, depending on the crowd levels. I have great respect for nature's ability to adapt.
We went to, Akai and I drove to Cincinnati on Friday to pick up the Festivus yarn. And we wore masks in the grocery, like we stopped in the grocery store, and we wore our masks. It's like, even though overall Ohio was at 50%, the area near Kentucky, and Elizabeth, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not so great down there, right? The vaccination rate, like down in those counties, is much lower, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Like 30. Yeah, it's quite a bit lower.
Mhm.
So it's a whole
So you were,
other it's a whole
you were
other
more
Ohio.
careful in that one. Yeah.
Yeah, just, I mean, I don't worry about myself getting sick. I'm really doing it not to spread it around, you know.
I heard you sneak in that thing about Festivus yarn there.
Uh-huh. It's in the house.
It's in the house.
Oh, cool. Is it as good as you were hoping?
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
I'm guessing that.
Festivus.
Okay. I can wait, but I just
Yeah.
know it's worth it.
I don't think it's a secret, but I'll wait until Kai's back from vacation.
Fine.
We don't want to make her think we're sneaking around, showing off stuff we shouldn't show off. She deserves it.
Oops.
I just noticed there's a note on the door. It looks like a UPS slip. I'll be right back. I didn't see it when I came in. They attempted to deliver a package that wasn't for us, and we weren't here.
Bummer.
No. We were here, but the door was locked.
And they didn't expect you to be there, so they just left it.
Yeah, they know full well there are signs all over the outside of our area that this is not the doctor's office. And only mail for Bare Naked Wolves and packages for Bare Naked Wolves should be delivered here.
Yeah, well.
And they continue to ignore those signs. So
I have a similar problem with our phone number, which is 1 digit away from a local clinic, and they put it on their appointment cards 4 years ago. And
oh
those cards
no.
are still out there floating around. So on our answering machine, it says, "This is not the clinic. Here is their phone number."
Wow, that's a
Section 8 housing with my number.
I had hospital try to fax me twice today, and then another doctor's office called me about a minute and a half later, and I was getting a little testy by then.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I got they sent a flyer out in Miami for Section 8 housing with my phone number on it.
That's worse.
And the area code was just, it was supposed to be 786 and they put 305. So for about 5 years, I had people calling me constantly.
Yeah. it just like that, only yours is definitely worse.
And it like totally ruins your life when something like that happens, in your telephone life. Like you really do have to change your number to get away from it.
It actually liberated me. I just didn't answer the phone anymore.
Yeah, I got rid of my landline for a similar reason. I just got rid of it. And
if I don't recognize the number, it goes to voicemail. I'll call you back.
If it's important, they'll leave a message.
Exactly. Before I would I have to answer the phone. After that, I was like, I'm not answering anything.
Yeah. We got somebody used our number to apply for like one of those payday loans and then didn't pay back or whatever. And we had collection agencies calling us at one point like 200 times a day or something like that. Because they collect, when those places want to collect, they sell the collection to a whole industry full of foreign debt collectors. So it's so insane. I didn't know any of that. And I would like lambaste the people who would call and say, I already told you, I don't, take me off your list. I'm not that person. Finally, like this really patient guy explained it all to me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to get away from this. He's like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, you better, if I were you, I'd change your number.
But then it gets forwarded for another 6 months.
No, we just got rid of it. We just, we just went to using our cell phones, which we already had numbers for.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get that forwarding if you don't want to.
Yeah, it's tough though, because this has been my business phone number for 20 years.
Yeah.
So.
We had ours, we probably had that number about 10 or 12 years when it happened, but we weren't getting any other calls except that and like campaigning. We were getting mostly just spam anyway. So
good reason to get rid of it. I'll have to think about that.
And I was just going to tell you, I'm loving the pattern. I'm
good.
finally far enough along that I can actually see a little bit of it. And I'm going to have to go here soon. My phone is dying. We're camping up in but near Lake Tahoe.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Hi, neighbor.
For you.
Yeah.
We feel so bad.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We took our Goldens swimming this afternoon, so they're
Aw.
resting now.
Take them to the lake.
See them. No, actually to a reservoir that's close by. So it's a little bit nicer because it's got a little more sloping shoreline and stuff. It's Boca Reservoir, which is near Truckee.
Oh, okay.
I have friends that live in Truckee.
Oh, okay.
That's where I had to go
Don't get
get my
quite
shots.
Ah,
Oh, really?
The other end of the county, but they had the vaccine early.
Where are you? Where are you in Tahoe?
we're just outside of Truckee.
Yeah,
We're in
no,
Truckee.
I don't know what your name is. Somebody just answered. They close to Truckee.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in Grass Valley.
Okay.
It's about 45 minutes away.
My girlfriend also, who I stay with, lives on State Line. Her kids live in Truckee.
Oh, okay.
She's right up in Zephyr,
Almost Reno.
Zephyr Cove. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always go up there and bring home two suitcases full of wine. One of the perks of working for the airlines.
There you go.
Well, you guys have a great afternoon. I'm going to sign off.
Okay, Linda, see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, my battery's about done.
Oh,
I won't
no.
be here. I won't be here next week. I am going to see my mom. First time in 20 months.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy. So
Where
yeah,
does she live real far?
it's an 8-hour drive. She's in South Shore of Montreal.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, have a
So-
good trip. I know I haven't seen my mom yet either.
Yeah, it's been too long. When I called her and said you want, she got her second vaccine yesterday. So I'm just gonna drive from here to there, and I said, we're not going to restaurants or shopping or anything like that. We're just visiting with each other. She says, that's fine by me.
Oh, I bet she can't wait to see you.
Yeah, likewise. It's crazy. I never thought I'd go that long without seeing her, but yeah. So that's where I'll be.
Good for you. Have a great time.
Yeah.
Have a good trip.
All right. See everybody.
We'll miss you.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep up with the clues.
I was gonna say, won't she let you Zoom? You should bring her to the Zoom.
Well, she's got the worst Wi-Fi because she's not keen on any of that. So if you see me, it's because I managed to get going on it, but I'm not holding my breath.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I almost ended the meeting for everyone. Bye.
Oh, yeah. You can assign it to me or Elizabeth.
Yeah, no, it's assign and leave. I'll assign to, there you go. Oh yeah, you're already as the co-host, so you're assigned.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say goodnight too, because I'm pooped.
Okay, Robin.
Time for me to turn into a pumpkin. So good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
I think it's going around. Am I still on mute? No, okay. This is the third time I've knit part of this hem on Squall. And somewhere between the chart for hem B and the chart for body A, I am messing something up and I cannot figure it out.
Is there a transition rule in the written instructions that you're supposed to be doing, or?
No, I did look for that. Let me go back and I'll of course double check, but no, it begins right away with the chart. And so I'm knitting the chart and I am not getting it to come out. So it's me. I'm not looking at something right.
Try reading the pattern out.
I did. I counted. I've got the correct number of stitches. It's just that it's not lining up with, you know, how you can look at your knitting and say, okay, the peak of this lace motif lines up with the center double decrease.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not getting.
Hmm.
So we're working on it though.
How much off is it?
I don't remember. I think I was like 3 or 4 stitches off.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a center 18.
Let me get a copy of the pattern so I can help you get it. We happen to have printed patterns
Handy.
So you're beginning hem section B or what?
Yes, hem section B.
Okay, hang on.
And so my hem section B, I'm having trouble getting it to line up with body A. And it moves.
Oh, you're done with section B and you're moving into body A.
Right. Well, I'm back on hem B because I ripped so much out. And so I'm on the 17th row of hem B right now. And my
Okay.
counts are spot on.
Okay.
So there, like I said, it's something I'm doing. I'm just doing something wrong. That's all there is to it.
And you have all the right number of stitches.
Yeah, I've counted and recounted. And so I thought, well, this time I'm going to figure out like where the centers line up. I'm not explaining that right.
No, your landmark
Yes.
stitches, in other words, yes.
Yeah, all your stitch marks stitched over.
Totally get that.
And it should just be flowing right along, but I'm not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything special between the hem and the body. So you're between hem B and body A.
Right. It's just
when you discover your issue.
Right.
I'm just looking to see if there's anything that jumps out at me. Oh yeah, there's that one section starting with row 17 where it would be so easy to leave out the yarn, but you said you had the right number of stitches.
Yeah.
Maybe they're getting put in the wrong place.
No, this time I'm going to go section by section when I knit it. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Here. But it should
body A.
Yeah.
Well, okay, guess my first question is, what makes you think that it does line up with something?
Because you know how the first you've got one stitch and then a marker and then 3 stitches that make that center double decrease column. That center double decrease column lines up through all the charts. So you've got that continuous center double decrease line going up, to separate each wedge. And so what is happening is I'm getting like through the first repeat and then the second repeat. And at the end of the second repeat, my center double decrease line is like 3 stitches over. It's like I've done all the repeats.
Hang on, I thought you said you were going between hem B and body A.
Yes.
I don't see a double decrease on hem B.
Oh. Yeah, it's there. You've got your 1 stitch and then a marker, and then you've got that column of where you do yarn over
on hem B.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the photograph of the finished piece to see that everything's
No.
No,
let me just talk to her for a second.
Sure.
This is hem B right here. There's no double decreases on this chart, like at all.
You got squall.
That's what it says on page 8, chart hem B.
I'm on page 12, hem B.
Oh, are you making it a different size or?
Oh, I'm just doing the petite size, which it's all in the same pattern. There's not different charts for different sizes here.
There's no page 12 on this pattern, and it says squall down on in the footnote.
Here is my hem B.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking at that.
Yeah.
There's no double decreases there. I mean, just in
On the
the
board.
edging.
Right here. Isn't that a center double decrease?
Oh,
That's
in the
center.
edging. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so those should line up between each wedge.
Oh, okay. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were still only on the edging. I was looking at the chart itself. So those aren't lining up?
No, and it's something I'm doing with counting because I've made this before from this very same pattern. So it should all be matching up. So
Is it, I mean, those first 2 stitches are literally you cast on and then bind off immediately.
right.
So there's really just 1 stitch before that.
Well, that makes a picot edging. That's making
Yeah. Yeah,
because you cast them on, turn your work and bind them off.
right. So the double decrease is really like the second full stitch of the row.
Right, right. And when I get through the first, and there's 3 wedges, and when I get through the first wedge, I'm lined up with that column of center double decreases because that's also in between.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then I knit the number of repeats for the second wedge, and I'm getting ready to do the center double decrease, and I'm not lined up. I'm not lined up over the same center double decrease that's been carried up from MB. If that
Oh, at the very center of the,
no, it's in 3 wedges. So the
oh, right. Okay, yeah.
yeah, there's this
Oh, so then that means only 1 section of your shawl is off.
right. I've
Okay.
and I've done it twice, so I'm not looking at something right. So this time along, I mean, I probably
But you said you counted and you have the right number of stitches.
right. And so I don't know if I'm making I think I'm making my mistake somewhere in body A.
But you also said when you do the wedge the first time, it lines up.
Yeah, and which is strange. So it's somewhere in the second wedge I have an issue. And I've counted and recounted, but
It has to be something wrong with the count. It can't be if you get through all the way one wedge and it works out.
exactly. I know, that's what I mean.
Then it can't be something it can't be like, it has to be that the stitches are off.
Right, right.
Is it possible you made a mistake in an earlier row? So that explains why they don't
No,
line
because
up.
I count every time I knit each repeat, I count. You know, I've
Right.
got 4, I've got 18, I've got 18, I've got 18, I've got 5, 3, 5, 18, 18, 18. So I'm counting almost the whole time I'm knitting. And it's just something that I'm not doing right. So this time I'm really, really counting and recounting and everything else.
That's frustrating.
Yes, it is. But I guess that's what makes lace so much fun to knit, right?
Yes, indeed, she said as she ripped out about 6 hours worth of knitting.
Ah, yes.
So, because now we have this much.
Oh,
No.
Well, it'll be right when it's done, won't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Me and Elizabeth, we're just gonna hang together.
Yeah. Knit 2, rip 3.
Right?
So you ended sharp for hem B, and that worked out fine. Or did you already rip back into hem B again?
I've already ripped back into hem B, and I went like 5 rows into hem B. Well, actually more than that. I probably ripped back 10 rows into hem B.
The only thing I can I'm wondering is in hem B, well, in all the charts, there's not a decrease at the start and the end of the lace part on every right side row.
Right.
You know, it's uneven
Yes.
because of the wedge shaping. But also on row 23, there's a decrease at the very start of the wedge and there isn't one at the end.
There's an increase at the end.
Right, because they offset each other.
Right.
So if you're not thinking about it entirely, the whole,
Yes.
it would be easy to make a mistake there, but I don't think that would be a 3 or 4 stitch mistake. That is a pretty shawl though.
Oh, I love it. I just love it.
I remember when we photographed this. I was visiting Kim and, and she always did such a good job modeling. And we drove all the way to Point Loma to photograph this. We got out of the car and the shawl was on her countertop at home.
Oh.
Oh dear.
We all looked at each other and said, who has the shawl? So we had to go all the way back. We had to go all the way back to her house. It was just like, it wasn't an hour, but it was like 40 minutes drive. And David and her son had thought they'd go thrifting together. So we ended up, they were like, can we bail? And you could just drop us off into downtown on the way back and we'll figure out how we're getting home. That was so funny. It ended up being fortuitous because when we got back, the light was just perfect for the photographs.
Oh, Schmoopy. Hey, Schmoops. Oh.
I'm trying to get this done before the next barn box.
That's almost a month away.
I know.
3 weeks. Good thing I've got a ways to go.
I was going to ask, did they ever find out what happened to the missing shipments? Like, I know you had to replace mine, so I'm just wondering, did they ever find the missing ones?
Well, Jose got 2, so hers arrived. Her second one and her first one arrived like nearly the same time.
Okay.
So we do know that. I mean, some of those shipments are just stuck in Canadian mail and just not moving, but they'll probably get there by Christmas. Then you can either You can either send it back or purchase it or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
We do appreciate it if you do one of those things rather than just keep it.
Yeah.
But we can't help it if that's what people do. But what this happened one year when we did the red yarn in the very first club, and we called it Festivus, and
Oh, yeah.
and it spawned the idea for the whole Festivus thing. But the yarn went out with the club, and they were these huge skeins, 8-ounce skeins of worsted weight yarn, and we had a blizzard or a couple of them in our area, so a bunch of stuff got stuck in Toledo and stayed there for a while, and eventually people got their packages, but there were some people that never got their packages, and we had to reship a dozen or 20 or something like that. And then all of a sudden in June, we started getting emails from people. Guess what came today? my first Festivus package, and about 6 people returned it to us, or purchased it, which was very, very nice. But not all. Yeah.
No, I was thinking if it did show up, I would make another summer top out of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because that's the Kent, right? The Kent lace. Yeah.
Very much enjoyed knitting with that. It was delightful.
What's that?
I said I very much enjoyed knitting with that.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah, I am too, despite my
nice.
It's nice yarn. I really like my stone soup that I'm knitting the summer mystery in.
That makes me so happy.
Wow.
I love hearing of somebody who loves stone soup.
Oh my.
Did you see our picture of Elizabeth in the sweater unit? She put that dandelion honey on. She came in here to shop for something completely different.
Yeah,
and she put that dandelion honey on that you knit, and all of us were like, you got to get that.
I did not see a picture of Elizabeth wearing it.
It was on the Instagram.
Was it? All right, I'll go back and look it up.
Because I looked up and went, oh, I think it was on Instagram.
All right, I'll look for it.
Email. It was very exciting to see her.
Excuse me. We had a really nice time that day.
Great visit. Of course, my jaw dropped. You see all those samples, and it's just like, golly, Ned, where to begin?
There she is. Oh, but you're not wearing the sweater in this photo though. Well, what did Kaya do with all those pictures she took then? She took a bunch of pictures.
I'm not crazy. I saw Elizabeth, but not the sweater.
You saw what?
I saw Elizabeth, but not the sweater.
The sweater's on the table. If you look there, it's right there, folded up.
You know, she couldn't use all the pictures, I guess.
Right.
You'd have to pay like a, royalty or something.
Maybe it's on the knit spot. Let's see. No. She must have plans for it though.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You're gonna be our flat Stanley next thing you know.
Right.
So has anyone started the honey sweater?
I have to finish something before I can start another sweater.
I have to finish Violet. I think I'm gonna do mine for the Rhinebeck KAL. I have to finish from the winter knit along. I have to finish Violet. So
And for the Rhinebeck KL, I'll be able to publish from us the Champlain sweater will be available then
Oh, cool.
as a standalone pattern.
Great. I bought that special for the pattern, but I was already a subscriber, so.
Yeah, yeah. But look at us, planning and scheming before we're even done with this knit along.
Always.
I had hopes to do a couple of hats to practice the stitch pattern and look at all the different colors before I chose my Champlain colors.
You have time. I mean, the hats really do go quick, so.
I have to stop knitting all these other clubs and I've got 2 clubs. I got Barn Box that I was hoping to finish before the next one comes. It's looking doubtful with this and summer. It's
It
just
is
not like,
amazing. It is amazing how much like my knitting pace changes when summer comes and we can spend more time outside and there's gardening to do and
Walks to take.
exactly, lots of walks.
beach days with family. Yeah, there's just,
Yeah, you have your grandchildren around more right now, right?
that's right. And we had like 3 to 5 days a week, we have them here.
Wow.
Sometimes just because their daycare falls through and everybody's working, and other times they come with their children. So, has anyone ever heard of a Ragnar race, a running race?
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of my daughters has been doing it for a while, but she lost 2 teammates. So she wrangled her older sister to join in. And so that weekend we hope, and it ends in Langley. The one in Washington starts in Blaine, Washington, and ends right in the town next door to us. And so all 12 of them come and just pass out in the shade on foldable mattresses for a while. And then we have a big barbecue, but we'll have 3 families here simultaneously for the other kids who are coming up that weekend. So we're going to have a crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like
4th of July and then the next week too. Yeah.
A friend of mine used to have a cabin at a lake not far from here. Her husband had polio, so he was in a wheelchair, and they had a cabin on the lake, and it was a 2-bedroom cabin. And I'd phone her up and say, hey, I'm going up to this other town. Do you mind if I stop in? Oh, sure. I said, how many are there today? Oh, just this other family. So there's only 3. So you make 4, but that's for the Saturday. Or Friday. By Saturday, we'll have 22. So you pick your spot ahead of time, and it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. You lined up. And she says, then the kids are coming and the grandkids are coming. So there'll be 22. And then by the end of the week, it'll be down to just us. So it's a lot of fun.
It is fun. And we happen to be a house that's always under construction, and my husband loves machinery. So either we have 5 dirt piles around, or this year we look like the desert because he retrenched all the utilities and digs up all the grass. But of course, we're not planting the grass till fall. So the children are always covered in dust by the end of every day, between dirt piles and then just dusty spots.
The other thing with this house is it didn't have a washing machine per se. It's one of these old fashioned wringer washers that you had to pull outside to wash. So it was a very interesting house. But the kids could go swimming as long as there was an adult. And two of her kids said, well, ask this lady, she's an adult, so we can go swimming if she's on the dock. I thought that was kind of cute. But yeah, those were the rules. Couldn't go on the dock, even with a float jacket, unless you had an adult there.
Sounds sensible.
Yeah. I thought, I'm an adult? I'm an adult? Oh my gosh, when did I get grown up? So Anne, who does the cooking at your house?
I do most of the cooking. I like to cook. David, like tonight, I work till 8, or he makes tonight's tuna sandwich night. So one of my favorites. And if we have eggs for dinner, he likes to make the eggs. But I do all the more complicated cooking. I wonder where Catherine is tonight. She's not here.
I was looking at the Rhinebeck website and it doesn't seem like, I didn't see the classes list. Are they having classes this year? Does anyone know?
No.
I don't think
They're-
so.
Okay.
I thought they were having some online or virtual.
Virtual, yeah. But if I were to go, I sometimes like to go back east in October. It's beautiful. And I haven't made up my mind, but I could just get tickets. And even if I don't go, it's not a big deal at $17 a day. It's nothing compared to trying to get across the country.
Yeah.
Right?
Just had a client call me. She's trying to book me for house sitting and taking care of 8 animals, 1 dog. She wants to go to Egypt next year. in March, April, and I said, let's book it tentatively. Too much can happen between now and then. Yeah, the one, it's 5 Snowbell chinchilla Persians, 1 regular ordinary cat, and 1 Akita.
Wow.
So only one of the animals is a dog?
Only one is a dog.
Oh.
But it's a big dog. Big dog, very big dog. It's 130, 135 pounds.
Wow, that's a big Akita even. I mean,
and he's small.
Really?
Yeah.
There's some people that have, there's a couple people that go to our local dog park that have Akitas that are much smaller than that. So I thought they were just, I had the idea they were smaller dogs.
I did too, until like his head is bigger than mine. It's huge.
Whoa.
He's a big dog. He's a sweetie pie though. He's a real sweetie pie. So we're going to book a trial run and see how it goes.
Well, I'm off to deal with more plumbing problems, so see you next time.
Hi, Ann.
Bye.
Hi, Ann.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock already. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my.
So I'm gonna get going.
All righty.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, Sherry.
Bye, Sherry.
I miss
Yeah.
you.
I think I'm gonna sign off too.
All right.
I'm
See you
glad I
later.
finally made it. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Audrey. I'm just gonna knit to this place where I have to do a yarn over here.
But I am really enjoying this knit. It's been very,
Cool.
and this yarn is just, oh, it's so scrumptious.
What are you knitting with again? The Modern Deco?
Modern Deco.
Yeah.
It is scrumptious.
It does feel really nice to knit with. The sport weight in particular is, there's a little bit of difference in the way it feels because the sport weight is the 3-ply, so it's a little smoother and
very smooth.
Somewhat more buttery. And the lace weight, which is really more like a fingering weight, is a 2-ply, and you can feel the texture in it when you knit with it. But it does smooth out incredibly when it's blocked. It just it has more texture when you knit with it. But I do love the fabric that it makes. Can't wait till this is done.
And what are you knitting?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm knitting another one of those summer top, like I made that summer top with the linen.
Yeah.
And I'm knitting another one in Modern Deco lace. Hang on one second. So I'm working on the bot. I did the sleeves. This is the long sleeve version and the longer body. And yeah, I've got about 5 or 6 more inches to go to the underarm. So
All right, you guys have a good week.
See ya.
Joy.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna have to go too. Sophie needs to go out.
All right.
Go to
See you
bed.
later, Elizabeth.
I'll see
Good
ya.
night, everybody.
Night.